There's a place in the woods called Aspen Ridge. This is where we call home. We are the Popple people. Welcome to our channel. Thanks for stopping by. Well, the old 1959 John Deere 440 crawler is off to her next job. Luckily, it's a pretty short drive. In this episode, we'll be moving our Woodland Mills HM122 sawmill off the car trailer that we originally had it set up on, and we're going to set it up at a temporary site that's being leveled, as you can see here. We measured the area just to make sure it was long enough to fit the sawmill, plus we'll finally be adding on our track extension as well. We checked the temporary sawmill site with a line level before we went to work setting up our series of cement blocks that are going to be the foundation. This process was tedious and actually ended up taking most of the day, but it looks great and it turned out really well. Surprisingly, the quickest part of this process was actually transferring the sawmill from the car trailer to the foundation. It was much easier than we thought it would be, so that was encouraging. We plucked the saw head off with a crawler and set that on blocks, and this actually went really smooth too. Then we lifted the track off the trailer. It wasn't light, but we were able to move it with just the two of us. This part is just all the regular track that came with our Woodland Mills HM122 portable sawmill. So since we're adding on the track extension here, we had to remove the carriage stops here because these are going to need to be transferred over onto the extension pieces that'll be on the new track. This end bunk also needed to be transferred to the end of the track extension, so you'll see that being removed here. He pre-assembled the leveling feet and attached them to the new sections of track. This process was exactly the same as when we assembled the original track. If you need a quick refresher on that, check out this video in the upper right corner. Once those new track pieces were all bolted together with a plate underneath, then the end bunk was reinstalled at the new end of this extension. The mid bunks that came in the extension kit were affixed next. When you're doing this, make sure you have the log support brackets on the correct side, that they're all on the same side and they're on the side opposite that you're planning to load your logs from. There were a few different places that the log clamp could be installed. Figure out which one will work best for you. And also, don't forget to grease that log clamp. We spent a fair amount of time adjusting the track height, and after that, everything around the bunks got tightened up. Be sure to check track width for consistency along the entire length of the track. And also make sure that the track is square by measuring diagonally from corner to corner. Time to get that saw head back on the tracks. This went smooth with that crawler. I cannot stress enough how much easier this was compared to the first time we did it. At this point, we were done, so a big barbecue grill cover was used to button her up for the day. The next day we got back to it and just finished checking and leveling the track again. This was a tedious process, but important to take your time and do this properly. Then the blade was tensioned and spun just to check tracking, and then measuring the distance between the blade and each mid-bunk. All of them measured exactly the same, so we were confident that we were all leveled out and good to go. After that, we were on to our next task, which is why we needed the trailer. So this is why we ended up having to move the sawmill to begin with. When the utility company came through here last week and destroyed our front yard, one of the crew members gave us a tip on some trees that they had cut down recently, and the landowner wanted them gone ASAP. So we headed over there with the trailer to score some free wood. Some of these logs were in the 22-inch diameter range, which will max out our HM122. We used the trailer winch to drag these big logs, and it actually worked really well. That cant hook is coming in handy too. We're glad we got it. Well, we probably overloaded the trailer, but we made it back to the shop. If you would like to get a hold of us with questions or comments, please email us at thepopplepeople, all one word, @gmail.com, or flip-flop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll tackle these big logs with a sawmill. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to follow our journey, please consider subscribing. That way, you can be a Popple People too. We'll catch you next time. Bye.